So Caitlin Clark right here is breaking so many records. It's actually getting ridiculous. And this one is not quite a record, but it might be one of one of the more impressive things we have seen from just the Caitlin Clark effect on the WNBA. And before we get on to it, if you guys agree that this is ridiculous, subscribe. We're trying to hit 34,000 subscribers by the end of the day, and right now we are about 70-something off, 76 off. So, what we are talking about here is Caitlin Clark headlined another 1 million viewer game versus the Lynx, despite being broadcast on ION at the same time as the Eagles versus Packers. Again, I'm not a American football fan. I don't really watch any of it. I'm really not a fan. Like, I got into it a little bit when I was considering going to prep school and the school wanted me playing football. And that was the only time I even kind of half watched American football. But I've not watched it at all. Don't really know much about it. But what I do know is that more people watch American football than any other sport, especially in America. Not any other sport, especially in America. Any other sport in America. Outside of America, obviously, football is number one. But it was the network's third most watched WNBA game ever. 1.26 million. And also, by the way, this number dropped to like 500k when the Sky were on immediately afterwards. So it's clear it's the Caitlin Clark effect. And look, 500k on ION is not bad. But it's clear that it is the Caitlin Clark effect, not the rookie class effect, like some people were trying to say. But yeah, so we have got, again, Caitlin Clark right here pulling in these numbers. 1.26 million. The 19th Caitlin Clark broadcast to break 1 million views. Like, that is crazy. That is actually crazy. 19 times she has broken 1 million views in her games. The NFL hates to see Caitlin Clark coming. Yeah, I can't believe it. It actually looks like a lot of people are like, oh, people are going to stop caring about the WNBA because of the NFL. No. Like, the viewership numbers have stayed the exact same. Why? Because the biggest draw in all of sports right now, as far as an individual person, not the sport, is Caitlin Clark. She is the biggest, as far as individual person in sports, she might be the biggest, outside of prize fighters, she might be the biggest draw. She's the biggest draw in team sports. See here, I'm in a bar in West Des Moines on NFL Sunday, where people are cheering for a WNBA team. On NFL Sunday. Like, you are seeing people choosing to watch the WNBA over the NFL. Who would have ever thought that? Who would have ever thought that? Like, that would be crazy. Like, that would be crazy. I don't think anyone thought that was going to happen. I don't think anyone thought that people were going to watch NFL games or WNBA games over an NFL game. But that's the Caitlin Clark effect. Because it's fun to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. And first of all, it's like, I think a lot of people got invested. Look, I think a lot of people that were invested in the games are going to still watch them. Regardless of the fact that it's like, the NFL is on. You're still probably going to have tune out of one of them at some stage. Or start switching channels, or have one of them on the phone and one of them on the TV. We can do that now. We're in 2024. You can watch two things at once pretty damn easily. And that doesn't also take into account the fact that there are probably at least equally as many people watching it via League Pass or via streaming from the East. So it's a phenomenon. It is a phenomenon that we have not seen before in sports. And I'm happy that I'm actually able to live through this. Look, I lived through something kind of similar with Stephen Curry. Like, these are random regular season games. Like, can you imagine the playoffs? Can you imagine? Just touch wood. It is the fever against the sun. But can you imagine the viewers in these playoff games? They're going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be like nothing anyone's ever seen before. So, I don't think people realize just what this has done. And by the way, again, 500,000 viewers for the Chicago Sky game is no small amount either. Like, that is a very decent amount of viewers. The only problem with that is it's not 1.26 million. I chose to watch Caitlin Clark over NFL football. Before Caitlin Clark, it would have been unthinkable. When I played, you weren't allowed. I don't know. I don't really care. Let's face it. It's like watching a quarterback throwing to a wide receiver for a touchdown. Watching Caitlin Clark dish them dives the length of the floor. Like, Caitlin Clark is like, imagine if LaMelo Ball had came in, and like, I know he did come into Charlotte and they got better. Like, I know they got better that season. I think they might have made the play-in. Did they make the play-in that year? But they were better. It was either first or second year they made the play-in. But it would be like, imagine if LaMelo Ball, the way LaMelo Ball played, and he suddenly turned the Charlotte Hornets into like the hottest team in the NBA. If they went from, let's just say, 20 wins the year before to like 50 wins. Like, it's the equivalent of that. Like, with the less games being played and half the games being played, it would be like taking a team from plus 20 wins while playing the most attractive brand of basketball. If someone was able to do that in the NBA, they would be booming. Heck, it is almost like what Steve Nash did. Steve Nash obviously did it to a greater extent because his team won 60 games. Steve Nash won an MVP doing what Caitlin Clark is doing right now. Becoming the system, being the floor raiser, and being the like person that raised their teammates to an all-star level. The person that was like the catalyst for one of the greatest like single season turnarounds in history. Like, that's how Steve Nash won an MVP. And yet, there are still people, I still can't believe there are people in the WNBA that think that she's not that good. And look, I get it. Again, if you don't like Caitlin Clark, okay. I don't really understand how. But, like, if you don't like Caitlin Clark, it is what it is. But at the same time, there is absolutely no way that if you are trying to pretend that Caitlin Clark is not one of the 5 best players in the world, and if you are pretending she's not one of the 5 best players in the world, that is on you. I'm telling you, that one's on you. That is not on anyone other than yourself. You are just lying to yourself, or you are not watching the games if you're trying to say she's not one of the best in the world. And also if you're trying to say she's not the most fun. I actually remember at the start of the year when people actually argued that the Sky were more fun to watch than the Fever. And you know what? I will say this. The way the Sky played yesterday, they looked fun. And through Camila Cardoso passing, not even about her shooting, just running through her, letting her pass, letting her hit cutters. Is the way Izzy Harrison plays offense. I still don't think Izzy's better than Angel Reese just in general, but her off the bench next season, running through Kennedy Carter, who's dynamite to watch as well. They're a hell of a lot more fun than the Smash Mouth basketball for the first couple of games, where it was Marina Mabry shoot everything, Kennedy Carter come off the bench, and especially when the Kennedy Carter was out, when it was Angel go shoot your 20 shots a game. But yeah, like, people actually argued that people had that much, the derangement syndrome happened. People argued that the Fever weren't as fun to watch as those players. What Caitlin Clark did in college, what she is doing now, and not only Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, Lexi Hull, Melissa Smith sometimes, Temi Figbenley. These players are all, when they are firing on all cylinders, super fun to watch.